damn, this is so quick.
This is very quick.
Fuck.
Bro.
I mean,
quick turnaround.
Justin, go get coffee. We need coffee. With coffee. Listen, we have a great podcast today. This is an exciting one. This is an exciting, at least for me.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm a fan, not because of anything, because he's here, but I am a fan of Jeremy's for a long, long time. He just learned that right now. Yeah. But we are here today with the incredible Jeremy Piven.
Let's go.
All right. Thank you.
A pleasure, Jeremy.
Thank you for coming, my brother.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
So I got to start off with you.
His job is just to but this is how it is. He just talks shit, and then he goes, "You do the heavy lifting. I'm going to tell him a couple things, and then bada bing bop boop bop."
I'm coming back to you.
No.
He's a real live Ari. You know?
Oh man!
Yes, he's
Thank
just
God.
like you. He's
just like me because I'm Ari.
I know you are. He goes,
Yeah.
"Hey, you over here."
Oh,
here.
no, let me
putting off fires early.
Yeah, I love it, brother.
Yeah.
I'm a stage actor from Chicago.
Yes.
And I've been studying since I was 8 years old.
Man, that's crazy.
And Ari Gold is a fictional character.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he is Ari Gold.
He is.
No, brother. You are 1,000% Ari Gold, and I'm not. So you don't know me,
Right.
But we're gonna get to know each other
100%.
But I am nothing like you.
Nothing.
Nothing. But this is gonna. But this is why we're here.
We'll figure it out after you take the shot of Cuban coffee.
I love it. I love it. Yeah.
I mean, I assume people see you in the streets and immediately they associate. Obviously,
Yeah.
to that,
Yeah.
Who are you? Like, how would you say you are as a person? Like,
I'll be honest with you. I'm someone that grew up on the stage, and I love acting, and my parents are artists, and I grew up in the theater, and I grew up really respecting the space that we occupy when we act. Is there any way to turn that music down?
Yeah, it's me, actually.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you so much. Without being pretentious, like that's what I love to do. I love to act and to create, and guys like you are brilliant businessmen. I'm not a businessman, so I played a character.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so I'm just and I have guys like this incredible gentleman who stop me on the street and they go, "Bro, I'm a douchebag because of you, bro. Because of you. Okay, let's take a pic, Ari. Take a pic, bro. The fuck's wrong?" And I'm like, going, "Oh, nice to meet you. Hey, I'm Jeremy." So listen, I used to get
incredible.
I used to get angry, and now the reality is, when you play a character authentically, people think you're that character.
100%.
Although, and this isn't a slight, this is just me telling you what my life is like. When I go to other countries like the UK, they come up to me, "Excuse me, Mr. Piven, I have to say, my mother was a very big fan of yours. And Jeremy, I have to tell you," and they know my name, and they know that I'm an actor and that I've spent my life working my fucking ass off. Yeah. And then in this country, they smack me on the back while I'm peeing at the urinal, and they tell me 116 things. So it's an interesting dichotomy.
Yeah. I mean, you had hosts that come in right now.
Right.
Obviously, you met.
Right.
Let me take a picture. Is that something that?
But I feel that's something common territory, don't you think?
But there
are
taking pictures and meeting people is my honor. But when people assume that you are the character that you played, I have to just let them know that is a work of fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I said they fall in love with
that. But that's what I was going to go at. I mean, it's not so much of the sense that one says, "Oh, you fall in love with the character," but it's a sense that that's the character you're playing, and some people sometimes can relate.
You can relate because you are that character.
Well,
and so you want me to be that character. And I know a lot of guys like you, and I love them. And they get so frustrated with me. I had one of my friends in the UK finally begged me. He's like, "Mate, just tell me you're a little bit like Ari. Just a little bit like Ari, mate. Please." Like, he was so desperate for me to be like Ari. And it's like, brother, I mean... I'm just an actor from Chicago.
Yeah.
My whole world isn't about the money.
That's right.
I'm not that guy, and I bless all of you.
Correct.
But it's okay to be different.
But 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
And you want me to be that guy, but I ain't that guy. And I will bore the hell out of you. I'm just a stage actor from Chicago.
But wait, how do you go from that? How do you go from that to then like comedy? I mean, obviously you've paid like comedic, actors, and you've done roles.
Well, Yeah, I've been on the stage since I was a child, and I've never stopped performing. And so from 8 to 18, when I went to college, I was on the stage at the Piven Theater, and then I went to many different universities and blah, blah, and studied at the conservatories in the UK, Shakespeare, blah, blah. And then when I was done, my first job was sketch comedy with Chris Farley at Second City. Yeah. So I started touring, doing sketch comedy with Chris, and obviously he blew up, and I kept doing my thing, and I did 80 movies in a row, and Entourage, and multiple Emmys, and blah, 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 and here we are, and I'm playing the Rusty Chuckle Bucket, the improv in Doral this weekend, 5 shows, and it's going to be incredible. I'm a stage creature. I love making people laugh. Stand-up comedy is not easy, but I've been doing it for about a decade, and I love it.
I mean, that to that point, let me tell you something. That is tough. I think of before even acting, I think to be in front of a stage to do comedy. I mean, so I follow a lot of comedians. I was a huge fan of. I used to love go see Don Rickles. You know what I'm saying? Loved, the exaggeration, him and
one of the OGs.
One of the OGs. I remember going to see him with Joan Rivers, and my wife tells me, it's just the dynamic that you have to be on point. The fact of like when you say, well, is that joke gonna hit? Is that joke gonna hit? But to his point, I mean, it's a tough thing. I mean, I think that's even tougher than being a camera, maybe.
Do you still get nervous going on stage, or are you doing new bits constantly, or how's that working out?
Yeah, new bits constantly, and you have to read the room, and part of what Don did so brilliantly, and we just came out of a period of where people were paralyzed by fear.
Yeah. Correct.
And we're just finally coming out of it. But someone like Don would not have been able to navigate because people would have all been offended because he was an equal opportunity offender, not unlike Ari Gold. But for me, you have to read the room, see what the vibe is like, try new material, navigate it. But a lot of it is like Don was a performer. He knew timing. He knew how he was. You look at it today, and it's still edgy today. Yeah. What he was doing. So he was brilliant. He was almost like the original roast master. You know what I mean? He would go in on people. He was a genius. And people come up to me after my shows and they say, we didn't know you were this funny. So it makes me feel good.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, but you see, when going back to that now, you're saying about the character. And I 100% with you. I know the fact of the characters, but your character on Entourage was, you played, I think, a hilarious person. You know what I'm saying? In the sense of like, you were Ari Gold, but you were a funny guy. You made that character funny. So I imagine that you could be acting, but that funny in you comes out the same way as you could be on stage. Because some actors are play some roles, but
They don't transition well.
They don't transition well. So I think that you did, even though you were playing a role of Ari Gold, which is whatever, like that guy told you, you're a douchebag, this and that. But at the end of the day, that funny in you, I could see it happening on stage. Yeah. I mean, we're gonna go see you, and we're excited. I can't wait to go see you on stage. But I can just imagine that you're gonna be killing it and hilarious up there because of your persona.
Thank you. Yeah, man, it's just interesting. It's one of those things where if you take the time to learn about someone, it'll unfold in front of you and you'll understand the variables that unlocked what they're capable of doing. Like if you looked at my history and went, oh, okay, mm-hmm. The guy has been doing sketch comedy and improv and he's been rewriting all of his roles and doing all this. So he has that type of mind, so he would be able to do stand-up. Because, the harder you work, the easier it looks. I don't equate myself with Tom Brady. I would never do it. But just recently, he just revealed why he's Tom Brady. And he said, look, that, when he played the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl, he made sure that he just poured himself into tape, and he learned everyone's body language. And so he knew exactly what, okay, the linebacker's leaning on his right foot. He's coming. Oh, he's dropping back into cover two. So he's flat out said, I ain't the fastest guy. I don't have the biggest arm. So he's not the best athlete. He just was the most prepared. Like Shakespeare says, the readiness is all. And you got to be ready. Yeah. And, there's a reason why if I played an authentic character and I made it look like I was improvising, every word is Ari Gold. Every single word was written. Every single word.
Does that seep into like your personal life as an actor? I mean, I've heard a lot of the times that it does, that you like feel like the actor eventually, like on your day-to-day life after you check out.
Well, I have this bit about being on a date with a woman, and it's a true story, and she said to me, I don't date actors.
Oh, I saw that one.
And I said, why? And she goes, because you never know when they're acting. And I said, well, we're not on the set. I'm not being paid.
Right.
I'm
There's not a hidden camera here somewhere?
I'm here with you. I'm totally focused on you. I'm not seeing line.
Action. I mean,
exactly.
It's a double-edged sword with that, I mean...
how do you think that, going back, I mean, I wanted to talk about cancel culture a little bit, but we can get into that a little bit later. But how do you think AI has affected like your industry right now, where people can kind of just like draw up a script like almost immediately? How do you see that happening, or what are the people in the industry saying about that?
I'm not very good with technology, so it's very intimidating to me, to be honest with you. I've never been that guy that is kind of locked into technology. There are people that are really great with it. I'm just not one of those people.
But you know that you've never used ChatGPT?
Yeah, I'm getting to it, brother. You asked me a question. I'm just no. I'm going to land the plane. Yeah, just take a deep breath and whatever you ask me, I'm gonna answer.
He's always on coffee.
No, we're good. We're good, brother. We're good.
He's always on coffee.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you so much. What I was saying is that ultimately we have created a situation for us where we might have created a monster, because we've given technology we've fed it all the information that we've gathered through thousands of years of civilization, and then we just expect everything to be okay. What is the third act going to look like with all these computers? We have no idea. It's scary as shit.
It is.
ChatGPT, like I get it. You feed these computers all this information, they're going to be able to spit it out, and they're doing, it's an incredible job in making people's lives easier. Now, I also hear that they're also studying the great actors like Marlon Brando, and they're even looking at his interviews and studying his facial expressions. And I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest with you, if they didn't take all of that information and try to create a new piece of content with Marlon Brando. You don't have to pay him. Mm-hmm. You don't have to deal with these horrible, tricky, disgusting actors. And so I don't know where we're heading. It feels a little scary, but you just got to, what, brother, you can't live in fear, and you keep doing your thing. The one thing that AI can't do, comedy. And I'll tell you why. Because comedy is a shared experience that we're recognizing someone else's humanity, where we're going, oh, man, shit, I didn't even think of that. Of course. You know what? I'm saying, man, I'm getting older, man. This is how you know you're getting older. I used to look at a woman in a short leather skirt, and I'd be like, God damn, she's hot. Now I'm like, I wonder if she's cold.
No,
you know what I mean? So that's like we're laughing because we're humans.
That happens to me. I got a daughter.
Computers aren't human, so they're not going to understand. They can't write the comedy that's going to touch us. So
that's a good point. I didn't think about it like that, but that's a very good point. Because now they created it where you can create it. It's called a GPT, and I can basically say, my name is Eduardo Moya, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think like this is my history. This is where I went to school, and then you can communicate with it, and it like talks to you as if it lived your life as history. I can upload your Wikipedia account and everything that you've done, and I'll ask it a question, and it'll try to attempt to answer it like your point of view.
Yeah. So computers have a ton of information, but they don't have a soul.
100%.
You know what I mean?
100%.
So, yeah. But that being said, like, where are we headed? We just don't even know.
I don't think anybody knows. I wanted to touch on another thing that I have not been able to watch, but I saw a little bit of the clip of the performance. I think I wanted to ask you what was what was the time frame on that? Did I hear correctly that it took a long time to make the performance? It took you a long time to make this movie?
Yeah, it took me like 15 years, ultimately. It's funny, this talk about Ari Gold, once you guys see the performance, we'll be talking about the performance, because it's the best work of my life. And it took me, I've been so lucky, being a working actor and being someone that is allowed to create is the greatest gift that I can even imagine. And yet, if people see that, I played a role like Ari, and they think, oh, okay, that's who you are, it's my job to prove them wrong. True. I can rail against the universe and go, oh, don't you understand me? My mother, who passed away last week, and then I was robbed 2 days later, everything that I own. Yeah. Crazy, so I've had a really interesting couple weeks, like no other. And she gave me a copy of the performance, and 15 years ago, and I was relentless, and we finally got it made. And you have to do these things for yourself. You have to create your own opportunities, because no one's going to save you. And it feels like, oh, someone's going to save me. No one's going to. You have to save yourself. Yeah, it's heavy. Yeah, it's a great lesson. Yeah. And I feel so empowered and very lucky that I learned that lesson.
So, and this was something that your mom was the one that said this, and I want you to look into this, into the performance.
Well, she was an incredible theater, and she was an incredible reader. Okay. So she was always reading, and she read this short story, and she gave it to me, and she goes, I think you could play this role. And
that's an Arthur Miller thing, no?
Yeah, Arthur Miller won the Pulitzer Prize, and she was right. And it's the best work of my life by far. And even the reviews have all said it, from Roger Ebert to Variety and Hollywood Reporter, and I've been so incredibly lucky that they've said, a career-defining performance, right? And that's after Ari Gold,
correct? Yeah.
So this is, and it took me 12 years to learn how to tap dance, and then I every year they said no, and we couldn't find the money. I was trying to get the money even from Miami investors, and I think when I would sit down at a table with guys like you that think I'm Ari Gold, and there's a table of Ari Gold, right? Very loud, a very loud table, very loud table. Well, and so they go, "What do you got, bro?" And I go, "Well, I'm going to be playing Harold May, and it's 1937. I'm a struggling tap dancer, and I'm Jewish, and I have to hide the fact that I'm Jewish and dance for Hitler." And they're like, "Yeah, can we get a check, please?"
No,
and it was a wrap. No one would give me the money. And the irony of all that is, that. Of course it's the best work of my life. Of course it's the best movie I've ever done. And this is what happens in life. You're handed these incredible challenges where at any point one would give up, because you just can't. I thought I heard no a lot as an actor, because you keep getting rejected for roles. This is a whole other level when you do your own project. So I held on, and the reward of it is a miracle. And it's the best thing I've ever done in my life, and I just can't wait for it to get seen.
Yeah. Was there ever a role that you got offered and you kind of rejected, and then later maybe like regretted?
Man, bro, I wish I one of the things that I talk about in my comedy set this weekend at the Improv, see that transition?
I like that.
Yeah.
Is how
it's a good actor.
How things don't really make sense. Like we're always trying to. One of the great things that comics do is we try to make sense of the world, and then we relate to you, and we all laugh because, oh my God, yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. But in Hollywood, not a lot makes sense, and I talk about the fact that The Rock is the highest paid actor, and he's never taken an acting class, and so you can't really look for logic, because I think if you do, you'll get incredibly frustrated.
Yeah, but I think The Rock, what he did was just like, he's just such a human person, I mean, he feels very authentic. I've never met him in person, obviously.
Yeah.
And he's amassed this huge following on social media that he's leveraged for when a movie comes out. He's always having these box office hits.
What's the last box office hit he's had?
I can't answer that.
I don't know. That's what I see online. The Netflix one, but it's not really box office. That's on Netflix.
I can't.
But I always feel that the marketing feels like that.
The marketing feels like that.
Yeah.
You're a smart man. The marketing feels like that.
Yeah.
It does indeed. Listen, man, he is a hard worker. Yes. I mean, he will outwork everyone. And it's a tribute to him. He's someone that will call an audible, and suddenly he's back into wrestling, and suddenly he's got the XFL, and he'll keep going, and maybe he'll run for office, or we don't know what he's going to do. He'll always do something, and he's already exceeded his own expectations. Course, and I'm not being negative at all. I'm marveling. He does things that I don't know if I could do. Yeah. You know, he's probably one of the greatest schmoozers in the world. Like, I've never schmoozed in I am a late bloomer to that. Like, it's not enough to work your ass off and be over prepared and try to do the best job you can. You have to figure out how to make, people feel great about themselves. And I think he's a master at that.
He really is.
There's some people that have that ability, and some people that's not me.
Yeah.
That's just not me.
It's clearly not me.
Yeah. Well, but you're an actor. Yeah.
But at the same time, I think it's an incredibly valuable skill.
Yes.
And it's oh my God, it's an underrated.
It's helped me so much in my life.
Well, you guys are businessmen, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I just watched you deal with our man Jose Cuervo.
Yeah.
And the way you dealt with him, it's just like, I'm just learning, I'm watching. That's what people do. They just work it.
Yeah.
And I just was the guy who just showed up and tried to just be over prepared and crush it. And you can print my take one, and I'm ready. I hit the ground running. I'm already ready to go. But I didn't do the rest of it.
Correct.
I didn't schmooze and make sure everyone's feeling good. But the reality is, it wasn't because I didn't want to. It's because I put all the emphasis on the performance and trying to make it great. So I was so locked in, that's all I had. You know what I mean? So
that's true.
Well, but, and all these things, like, to your point, I mean, in this industry, in our industry, where, we have the podcast, we do the marketing, we do everything, you got to be a schmoozer. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and we're our own actors in our own way, you know, because you're dealing with clients.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not the Ari thing, but we're in reality, we're marketers. We have clients that we have to deal with, and each of those clients are a different mood.
So let me ask you guys a question, and answer me honestly if 100%. You can. Okay,
I'll be honest.
When you deal with clients, how much of a variable is it that you make them feel good, as opposed to what you're closing a deal? How much of it is how they feel, as opposed to the actual content of what they're buying into? Yeah. How much of it is feelings?
Go.
Okay, so because I feel like I'm kind of like a little bit of a hybrid, because I've learned a lot from Manny, right? So I think the first case is you need to make sure you can execute what you're going to pitch. That's what gives you confidence, If people look at you and you can poke holes into things, and they know, and you're explaining your expertise and your strategies and what you're going to do for them, you got to keep in mind that these people are giving you money to make money. That's always in our mindset,
Right.
So the friendliness comes along with it, and it makes you feel more comfortable, and you're bringing that wall down in order to get through to the sale. But ultimately, expertise is what you need to, lean on, because you will get a deal with someone who trusts you and cool, no problem, but you're losing it in 2-3 months if you can't get the job done.
If you're not going to get the results.
So we look at a client prior, before they even come in, and I'm already studying him, and I know what they're doing wrong and what they're doing right. So I'm hitting those pain points as a way.
Okay. So I don't want to speak for you, but they have to truly believe that they're going to make money.
Yeah, 100%.
And then, but how much of it also is they had a great time with you?
Oh, it's a huge. They have to. So
when you're going to cut $30,000 monthly checks, you got to feel comfortable with
it. And again, this is all about you, but you're asking this question, but I'm going to answer. So I come from the political world. Okay, so when I started in politics. So from politics, I went into the marketing field. So in the politician world, you got to schmooze. Yeah. I worked for, I was the chief of staff for an ex-mayor of Miami. So basically, you would have to go, and I would have to act sometimes, deal with people I really didn't freaking want to deal with.
Yeah.
And some assholes that I really didn't believe in what they were doing.
Kind of happened to us yesterday a little bit.
Correct.
Right? Yeah.
So, you were going to places that it's like, oh, we stand for this, we stand for that. Okay, I'm here to give a proclamation, on behalf of the mayor's office. Thank you, goodbye. But then you reach some people that, wow, these people are good. Yeah. Some other people, then you gotta, you feel that bonding with some people. Some clients, they immediately say, hey, thank you for the pitch. You want to grab dinner?
Yep.
Absolutely. So I'm a person, I'll say, let's go to dinner, because then at that point I get to know that client a little bit better. And then in a little more of a tranquil ambiance, maybe a cocktail or a wine or whatever, you feel the person telling you, what we're really looking for is that we really, got to lift the sales on this, and we want to do it. We want to really, expand on the branding and stuff like that. So you get more of a deep feel of what they're looking for instead of that when you were in the pitch.
Right.
So then, in the schmoozing, it does help. And if you develop a good friendship, also, it could be, good and bad, because then sometimes you have a good friendship, and then they feel like if there's some lacking on the fact of the work, side, they're like, hey, listen,
or they take advantage of you.
They're
the other side of it.
My other people
start throwing stuff at you.
Yeah, my people over here are asking that, what's going on with that, or hey, could we just go ahead and do this already on the retainer that we're doing? So, there's a little bit of a
double-edged sword.
Yeah. So,
as you guys were talking, well, first of all, so what percentage of closing a deal do you think is how they feel, how you've made them feel, as opposed to 50%?
Yeah.
Wow.
I would, yeah.
Because you're competing with other agencies too.
Yeah. Yeah. So some people sit there and they can pitch the best pitch that you can imagine. And then all of a sudden, but they look like have a stick up their ass. Yep. And then basically, some other people, you know what? I like you. I liked your persona. I liked how you said this, but I need you to work maybe on this a little bit better. But let's try you. So it all depends, because then you have some clients that are not into that. The whole big other, corporate America, the big kahunas could be a little bit of a difference.
Wow. Thank you for your honesty, and that's incredible. And you just keep learning about, how to navigate human beings. Like, so much of it is how you make them feel. Because I come from a different time. As an actor, the only way that I worked was to grind, go in there and beat everyone. In my audition, I had to beat everyone out during the actual performance. And then I got out, and then I either got the role or I didn't. I either ate or I didn't. Yeah. But I had to beat everyone out. It wasn't about, schmoozing, how do I make everyone feel? Had nothing to do with it. It's like so that's, and after so many years of doing that, I got conditioned to think it's just all about that. And so it's not that I don't care about other people. I just didn't think it was a variable. Yeah, you know what I mean? Variable. I just thought, okay, showing up and doing the best job I can, that's all I need to do. It's like, and then in hindsight, it's like, no, it wasn't. Because it's the guys that were like making everyone feel like their best friend. Maybe they weren't the best performer, but they're working and they're crushing the game.
Right.
And I'm playing the fucking rusty chuckle bucket at the goddamn mall. And here we are.
But
God damn it.
But wait, Jeremy, on that point really quick. Do you think that sometimes you don't see, maybe going back to the schmoozing, wouldn't it be like maybe a director or a producer sometimes say, you know what? I love that role. But I would, who I would love for that? I would like Jeremy. And not that, you schmooze the guy, but maybe, you had a good opportunity with that person. And they really like how you are. And they probably think, Jeremy Piven would be great for that role. Versus the fact of saying, okay, let me bring 10 people and try them out for this role. I mean, does that not happen in Hollywood sometimes that, you get called by, you get recommended, or a director may seek for you?
These are all great questions. It's so funny that I played this character that basically is Ari Emanuel, that is one of the great businessmen of the entertainment world, And I am the antithesis of that in the way that I'm just an actor, and I don't really know how that all works.
It's crazy.
Which is really funny. I remember at one point someone said to my agent, who relayed this to me, because I was having frustrations when I wasn't doing Entourage, and I really wanted to work. And he's like, we're not getting a lot of stuff. And I'm like, what's going on? I'm winning Emmys and Golden Globes, and I would love to continue work. And he goes, what I'm hearing out there is they're saying there's no way that's acting. And I go, I'm sorry? There's no way that the role that I'm performing is acting. It's like, okay, so what you're saying is it's too real. Yeah. It's too authentic. Okay, well, of course it's acting. So, listen, I don't have any answers. And you can't look for them. You got to keep going. You got to keep working to not take things personally and to work your ass off and grow. By the way, this is the worst TED Talk you've ever heard in your life. No, it's true. It's true that I really do believe I'm learning a lot. And to answer your question, bro, like, I love what I do, and I know a comic said to me that, like, believe it or not, you're going to become a better actor from doing stand-up. And I thought, that doesn't even make any sense. And he was right, because I get up every night and I'm performing and I'm doing stand-up, and it's me. It's not a character, and it's my thoughts and my take on the world. But yet I'm performing, and so every night I'm grinding. So when I go back to the set, I have no rust on me. I've just been performing. You're flowing. And so it's made me so I'm a better actor now than so listen, I can't wait to keep going, and it's just been an interesting ride.
But I'm so surprised at like your inflection and how you are and how you speak. Somebody from seeing you and what we thought you were, what we think you are, to sitting down next to us and hearing the way you speak, it's very interesting at the way you speak, even about yourself, and the way you see your life. Like you come off, at least, unless you're acting.
Yeah,
it's very humble.
But to his point, it's person. To his point in a sense. And to his point, you're there acting. You know what I'm saying? Some people may not thought it was acting, but he's there acting. Yeah. He's doing a role. So then, to his point, really true. I mean, people assume because of what you see out there. Like singers. Do I do this on a daily basis?
So I mean, let's go back to what I was saying and what you're saying. It's like, I don't want to do it if I can't fully do it. So, I don't know how to kind of phone it in or just, so that if I'm going to play a role, I have to live that role. Yeah. And otherwise, why do it? So by living it and making it very authentic, they thought it was too good.
Too real, yeah.
So think about that. You did your job too well. We're going to now not hire you.
Right.
In what other industry
that
would that work? Yeah.
Listen,
we looked at your numbers. They're too good. They're too good, bro. You guys are killing the game. We love you, but it's too much.
Like, it happens. It happens with us.
Successful?
Oh, listen to me.
Too successful.
Listen to me.
Once because of that.
Yeah.
Ideas.
Yeah. We've had some people that say, no, you guys are too big for us. We're looking for a little smaller thing. You guys' ideas, that's not our budget. Oh, no. In all these little things in the marketing world,
we've had situations
we've
gotten subcontracted.
So I could believe
hired,
on that one.
We blow it up. They promised us something after. They take off with it, and then they do it themselves. Yeah. After we showed them the ropes of everything,
Yeah.
It's very different from you.
Right,
there's slightly differences, but it could happen.
No, that happens in every field. I remember, doing an audition. I can't tell you what movie it was for.
No,
Big Mama's House, and then I remember improvising and having fun and doing my thing, and I had a great time. I didn't get the role. I remember I was on a plane and I had the headphones in. I was listening and I heard some dialogue that was like, man, that sounds like something that would come out of my head. And I look up and Paul Giamatti, who's a brilliant actor, is crushing it. And he's saying the lines that I improvised in the audition. So they take but it's all good. Yeah. Listen, artist stealing, bless you. Paul Giamatti is a genius. He didn't steal it. Someone took it, transcribed it, threw it out there, and he absolutely crushed it. It's my honor. But fuck those motherfuckers.
Right, yeah, that's what I was going to tell you. I mean, that's how we feel sometimes when they take out
a lot of times the best ideas are stolen ideas, and you just got to make them better, and people do that all the time,
Listen, in the marketing field, you can't reinvent the wheel sometimes. You just got to, modify it. Yeah. You got to modify it a little bit. You can modify it a little bit. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
And do you have this is just curious questions that we put up that you were coming and people were asking. Do you have any funny or rivalries with other actors that you maybe compete for the same role and they take it from you or you take it from them? Does that exist in your industry or?
It definitely exists. I don't. I learned very early on that I guess because I've never been any one particular type, so I've even been up for roles where they've said Jeremy Piven type, and I didn't get the role. Oh, wow. So nothing makes sense.
Right.
So I wasn't enough like Jeremy Piven? I'm confused what's going on here. So, of course, do I see roles that I would have loved to have done? And absolutely, that all the time. But you can't be jealous. You can't compare yourself because it's just not. It just doesn't benefit you. It's just not healthy. It's literally not healthy. So why do it?
And I'm sure you watch movies with a different perspective. You're looking at the nuances. I see a campaign marketing from a different perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I love watching movies and I love getting lost in a story. There's nothing better. But sure, there are times when I look at it and go, okay, yeah, I would have. Okay, interesting.
Could have. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's a big question that they always ask all these actors, is, this movie role, were you, who outbeat you on this one? But to your point, I mean, I know, but I guess that would really fuck you, mentally in the sense of always you're going to be thinking, I lost this out to, I don't know, so-and-so, and this one to Leo or to that one. I don't know. I mean, they didn't like me for that role. Could I have been played it better? 100%. But I think to his point, I mean, you beat yourself up with that. I mean, that'll screw up with everybody's head. Yeah. Again, I tell you that my hat's off to you in the sense of doing the stand-up. Because, again, I've always been a person, I love comedy. So I love going to stand-up comedies, like I told you. And I think that is the hardest job. I think it's the hardest freaking job. Again, to their live people sitting down, having a drink, and some people, that's not fun. Some assholes out there. That's hard. It's hard. So it's a good test.
It is hard, but the hardest things are the most rewarding. They really. So if you can walk through it, and sure you're going to bomb, and you got to walk through that, and then on the other side of that is just magic. Because you've put your ego out of the way and you've humiliated. People's greatest fear is being humiliated in public. And so that's what stand-up can be.
Yeah.
So you got to walk through that.
Yeah, what are you going to throw at me after that? I got humiliated. What the hell are you going to...
I mean, listen, my boys roast me in my chat, man. There's nothing you can say to me that nobody could say that will ever say to me in my life that'll offend me. I know we got to wrap it up soon. You come to Miami often, or...?
I love Miami. I love being here. One of your guys, Jorge Masvidal, Jorge Masvidal. Yeah, we love him. Yeah. And he came to the last time I was here last year. He came to my show, and unbeknownst to me, he had never been to a stand-up comedy show. Oh, wow. And he loved it so much, he just didn't leave. He just stayed for the next show. I've never even seen that happen before.
Was that enough?
The bits are different, or you're doing the same bit, or obviously there's similarities.
There's some similarities, but the key is to mix it up and have fun. But he's become a good friend. Listen, I'm from Chicago, so the dream was to make it out here with the warm water and the warm weather, and I love Cuban culture.
Good.
I've been to Cuba many, many times, and smoked many Cuban cigars and love my mezcal, which is not from Cuba. Sorry,
right.
That's
we were talking about it. We were talking about it before we started the show.
Do you have a top eats, your favorite restaurants here in Miami, or not yet?
God, what was that amazing restaurant that I went to last night? What is wrong with me?
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I don't know what happened yesterday either. So don't worry.
No, I'm gonna get it right now. I'm gonna pull it up.
We like to ask, because
you want all our secrets.
Our viewers
they love it.
They love it. They love to see what people experience.
People eat 3 times a day, so it's always a hot topic.
They love the fact of just saying, okay, what are your top 3 little restaurants when you come to Miami or so. While you're looking for that,
okay, I got it.
Okay,
some of the best Italian in the areas. Wow. Cafe Avanti.
Okay. Oh, wow. Yes.
You know that spot?
Yeah, I know it very well.
Great spot.
In the beach.
Little, under the radar.
Yep.
But just a little gem.
Yes.
Oh, I loved it.
Never been.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that. That's one of my wife's favorite restaurants. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's,
and
the wine, everything's good there.
Yeah. You a wine drinker?
Yep. Yeah, man. A little bit. I mean, I've been grinding since early this morning. So I'm slowing down a bit.
Yeah.
But this crack cocaine you gave me really is.
Some more?
I think I'm good. I'm good, bro. I think I'm good.
Holy sponsored by Cuban coffee.
Oh my God.
Last question, at least from my end, for you. Okay, I'm interested. I mean, obviously, you're in the industry and you've done a lot. You've done great things. Your name speaks for itself. But I'm curious to know, do you have like a top 3 movies? Like, is there like top 3 movies that you put up there, like that you're like, man, these are my favorites?
Like your board go-to movies?
No, like I love Braveheart, I love Gladiator, like that type of like, hey, these are like, I'm curious to know, like from your position. Like,
I really love the movie Soul Plane.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Revenge of the Nerds Part 3. No. I have very, very, very strange taste. I mean, I remember the first time I was blown away by film was watching Apocalypse Now on a big screen, and I was just like, how do you even do that?
Yeah.
Like, who is Francis Ford Coppola, and how in God's name did you go to the end of the river and fucking capture that? And then who is Brando? What in God's name? And then you see, and then of course you do a deep dive on Brando, and you're watching him in Last Tango in Paris, and everything he's ever done. And so, and then you're going into the 9.5. You go going all the Fellini movies, Paul Thomas Anderson. I mean, even like some of his Boogie Nights is underrated. I mean, that's kind of a brilliant film. And then I think film is changing. Here's my take, and I could be totally wrong. Maybe you'll go back to this in a couple of years and go, man, maybe that guy was right. I think that people work really hard for their money. And I think when you go and throw your money at these big movies, you alluded to earlier, and you were very smart to say marketing. Well, it was marketed like a hit, and I think that's their trick. They market it, and we look at the billboard. Look, I just saw it on TV. I have to go see Black Adam. I think they told me to go. I think that's the movie. And then suddenly you see it, and it's become very unfulfilling to people. And I think what's happening now is you look at movies like Entourage this year that has won a lot of awards and will probably win. She might even win for Best Actress. I think she should. She's genius in it. But I think these indie films that are reaching people where you see it and you're really moved and it stays with you. I think people want an experience like that. 100%. I think they're done throwing their money away at these, maybe a franchise that is a shell of itself, So I think there's going to be a change. Maybe, wouldn't it be great, almost like the golden age of cinema in the 70s when Taxi Driver came out and all these guys that we were talking about, the Coppolas of the world. Wouldn't that be amazing if the people are starting, because Honora's made real money. It's an indie film. And I say that also selfishly because my film, The Performance, will come out this year. And I've made over 80 films, and it's the best film I've ever made in my life, by far, and best performance of my life. And so, and unfortunately, it's wildly topical. It's, it's set with the backdrop of the Holocaust.
Yeah, of course.
My character is Jewish. He hides the fact that he's Jewish, dances for Hitler to become successful and to get some momentum and make some money in his life. He thinks that art can override hate. We're living in a time where, Kanye's out there celebrating the Nazis. And, we're living...
That's a total new conversation.
Yeah, we're living in strange times, and it's like, well, hey, guys, I got this great movie, which isn't some didactic message. It's just a great story. Whether you connect with the history of it or not, doesn't, it's up to you. But I will say that the Holocaust did happen. So this film, to me, couldn't be more timely. Yes, it took me 15 years, but maybe it was the divine timing.
When is it supposed to release on that, Jeremy?
They're talking about the end of March, early April.
Excellent, man! I can't wait.
The performance.
Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should do a Day in Miami release party.
Yeah, we should
for the performance.
That'd be badass.
Let's go.
I would love that.
I would love that.
Like in a theater.
Get invited to the theater or something. I don't know how that gets done, but
we can reach out to we can reach out to Merrick or one of the theaters and say we want to do a Day in Miami and we invite everybody to see the performance there.
Yeah. That would be incredible.
I think it'd be great.
Because I got to tell you guys, we were reviewed at the Miami Film Festival. We premiered it outside at the band shell. 2,000 people slammed into there, and people were just really, it was incredible. We did a Q&A afterwards, and they were blown away. So I have a lot of love for Miami. There are a lot of Jews in Miami.
There are a lot of good people.
A lot of Cuban Jews.
A lot of Jews, a lot of Cuban Jews. Well, we saw the trailer. Yeah. We saw the trailer.
It's amazing.
We
we
did a little bit of homework.
You feel like it's like you're gonna get ingrained in one of those movies that you're not gonna want to think about anything else in there.
But that's
it pulls you in
for sure. Thank you, and that's what movies can do. They can, can be escapism.
Yep.
And if it causes you to go inward and then that's because it is ultimately about who are you in this life, how much of yourself will you compromise to become successful, and we all know that. Like for instance, I'm compromising myself right now. With you guys to become successful at the Improv this weekend.
Well, listen to me. We're gonna be there. I think we're gonna give away some. I think we're giving away some tickets.
Oh, let's do it.
We're giving away some tickets.
Now with doing a plug.
And the thing is that I just want to say that regardless, Jeremy, Ari, all the characters. You do a spectacular job.
Thank you, buddy. You as well. And congratulations to you guys.
We enjoyed all the performances that you do.
Thank you. Thank you, brother.
A lot of people.
Very
few people open up as much as you have.
Oh man, you ain't heard nothing yet.
No. Wow.
If we had another hour, I would start crying.
But Justin already texted me. He said, "Gotta wrap it up, buddy."
Yeah, he's on tour.
You're one of those guys that can talk for hours.
I love it.
Well, because you're really getting deep into the situation and the fact of how thought process and everything, and it's
impressive,
especially from a person from him that you've seen.
You've been in there, yeah. You've been in there. You've been in the trenches.
Well, why don't we, after you see my film, The Performance?
Yes.
After you see me on stage,
let's do it.
I feel like
that's gonna be 2 different performances.
I feel like you guys are on a bad date with a woman in LA where they're like, enough about me.
No,
what do you think about me?
We're good.
We're good.
We have too many women. We have too many women in Miami.